I'm a hype man. I think everybody knows that by now, but it's got to be something that can be hyped. It's got to sound good. And then if it's something that I personally really like hits all my spots, plus is appealing to the masses, that's two separate things. My preferences and what is appealing to everybody are not the same thing. Like is exampled by the DM6 being taken down because there's some trouble issues for some people. That's the way it is. That's the way it's got to be. And some people are not happy about that, but I love the DM6. I love them very much. But so there's the personal love, but I can't hype as much as I was doing originally because there is, in fact, a measurable elevation in the treble that doesn't reflect in my set, but it does in some others. And because there's a discrepancy there, not only by graphs, but by people's feedback, that has to be the way it's done. So separating my personal love and happiness from the general public's is something that I have to do. And there's other times where those two things both are going to exist together. This is both together. I listened to it first because I just wanted to hear if there was some weird splashes with the hi-hats. Wanted to hear if there was a lack of thump with the kick drum, or if it sounded like it was hanging around too long. Was there something up with the vocals? Fleetwood Mac was the album that I listened to. Let me go ahead and keep it real. It's right here on the low 2-part gold. Listened to the one side of the album actually this morning and had a really good time and started to get that I'm getting hyped feeling. And then I said, graph it. Let's graph this. So let's take a look at this really quick. If you don't know anything about graphs, trust me with what I say. Other people can come in and say what they want. This is a graph. I trust it. And I think it reflects what I'm hearing. There's a notch. Now, this is a photograph, so let me lift this up and you can come back to this if you want. Sorry. There we go. I'll lift it up so you can see where we're looking at. 8K is this bar, and 8K is where there's a notch. If I were to pick where I'd put a notch in this area, that's exactly what it would be. Between 7.5 and 9K is the dominant range for the offensive sound coming back to people. So if I were to, relative to the other parts of the frequency, notch, I do it right there. They did it right there. There is nothing remotely like semblance going on. And I could hear that, so I wanted to see what this was. Was it like this and then it fell off? Because it sounded like I was getting kind of a wide presentation, even more than what I was getting with the T2. And 10K is up there. I'm getting the area where people get sparkle. I'm getting the area where people get a sense of wider space that I'm getting when I listen to it, and it's over here. It's not peaked, where you get that rough, harsh sound. And then it kind of rolls off. It's actually, this is a balanced. Take a look at the deviation from here to here overall. That's, the bass is up as it's supposed to be. The mids are relative to the bass, not bad. I don't feel any sense of vocals being pulled back, and that's related to the hump at around 3. That's pulling the vocals a little bit up, but not forward. Stevie Nicks sounds awesome. Christy McVie's back vocals sound really, really good, which is probably related to what's going on right here. And then the treble is generally, there's no abnormal spikes or cavities. The biggest notable one would be the cavity at 8K, and that's where I would put it. That's where most people would if they were sweeping and they said, that's the part that bothers me. They'd probably notch it right there. You don't want to cut it because there's musical information there, but you'd prefer not to. The general population, not to have a peak or a spike right there. Let me drop that back down. So on a frequency graph, it's nailing it. And I have to take a look at this because I'm seeing patterns and I'm putting it in videos, and it would have sucked if I had to look at that and say, you know what, my ears don't hear what that graph says because I really love this and that graph doesn't look that good. No, that graph actually looks quite good. Looks like a company that listens to the feedback. Now, I have talked to people within the company, and the exact feedback that was given. The cable's nice, but it's kind of cheap. They were listening to you. Not only were they listening to you, they were trying to impress you, I think, and they're impressing me. This cable is absolutely gorgeous. You get the nice click in. The sound is fantastic. I'm going to put a check and a fire mark next to this, and I'm going to do a full review. I know you're like, this isn't the full review. No, this is elaboration on unbox. First impressions were absolutely hype. I'm gonna start hyping these. How much do they cost? I don't know. I don't know much more than you, except these are in my possession, and I can start to do graphs and listening impressions. The kick drum has a good punch. Male and female vocals both sound not recessed. The retuning kind of reflects that. There's no odd guitar upper notes that can kind of screech at 8K, or hi-hat oddness that can be related to 8, 9K. None of that stuff's going on. It's a really balanced, smooth playback, and I'm looking at maybe the most balanced graph I've ever looked at before. That thing really, the deviation from 60 to 10K is, the variation is very little. That is not V-shaped, that is not L-shaped, that is a balanced frequency graph. And they're fucking beautiful. These things are so gorgeous. Let me turn you back on. So, if you follow my recs, and if you think I basically trust his ear, or I agree and I like the things, I also feel that the DM6 is on the edge of being to the point where some people could find it. My set personally doesn't reflect that, but I've seen graphs and I believe that that is the case. But I am a lover of the DM6, and I said that when I did the video and took it from 1 to 3. I think the Canas Pro is outstanding. I think the Tanzio Mirai, I think it's TSMR3, is absolutely fantastic. So the Canas Pro, the DM6, Tanzio Mirai is what I like. Though that's my taste. If you agree and you like that, I would say that this is something that's... Would you be able to tell the difference between this and any of those three? You might like this better than those three. Look at the graph. Do you see anything that looks like it might be lacking? Like, oh, that's too much bass? No, it's not. Go back and rewind. There's no weird peaks. There's info after 8K, 9K that sometimes is cut off, which I'm not in agreement with. Some curves. Where it elevates, I get. Where it completely disappears, I don't, because there is musical information and there is sense of air, space, and sparkle that's up around 10K and even up to 16. People can hear up there. There is info. So I don't want that cut off like it is. Response that drops down, way down, and has a spike at 10K. That's cool, but just a full drop? No, that's not my personal taste. When expectation meets reality, we got to do the hype with photographs and just the whole 9 yards. And I'm going to start hyping this thing. So I will be doing answers to questions in this video. I'm sorry about the previous video. That's what happens when you do a video just before you sleep. It's wake up in the morning, you got 50 stuff, and you know that you're going to probably address some of it in another video, or you're going to answer a bunch because you're going to do another video. I had to listen to this. It sounds really nice. It doesn't sound overly... it doesn't sound bright. It doesn't sound warm. It sounds balanced. Like is the image of the T2, except not the Pro, which sounded a little bit... like I said, I wanted the bass to be upped about a dB, not really the treble, and they did it. I'm so stoked. I'm about to start a hype train. If you want to know when this is going to be put on sale, I will tell you that it will be February 11th is the day that this is going to be available to you. So And price, I don't know yet, but I know that February 11th is going to be the day. What a beauty. What a goddamn beauty. I'm so happy. I love when companies listen to the feedback. I was not a fan of the Prius cable. I thought it looked nice, but and for the people that are all about science and don't want to hear anything else, I respect you, because I agree that these graphs have great value, and there's patterns, and there's things like that 8K, where if that's going in the other direction, or is the highest peak in this whole response, if the highest point in the whole response was 8K, there's going to be people that are not going to be cool with it. I knew that when I started to measure it, and I was hoping, don't have it there. It sounded so nice. Don't put it there. It didn't sound like it, and it doesn't. I don't want to roll off completely after, let's say 6, 7K. Just boom, because there's stuff over here. This is where you get your sense of sparkle. This is where you get a sense of air. This is where you get a sense of, it's the psychoacoustic illusion of space where there is none. It happens in the upper registry. There's got to be info up there, but I don't want it right there. Right specifically there is where I don't want it, and that's where it is notched. And I need vocals, and right at the 2, 3, 4 range, I'm getting it. And the difference between this and this is not that bad. This is not a V, and this is not an L. It's balanced. Take a look at that, actually. That's pretty nice, man. Cable, dope, totally pimp. Sound, love it. It's opinion though. Apply some pseudoscience, garage, basement level science. Put it on, and checks the final box. It is officially able to be hyped, and I shall do so. God, I love this set. Holy crap. Very, very nice. And maybe just before the 11th, I'm going to do my full review. So I'm out. I will reply to questions in this video. So I'm sorry about the other one. Don't do videos at 12 a.m. I learned something last night. So these are dope. You know, I'm a music lover. And when something plays back the music really good, I get stoked. And then throw in a pimp cable, and I'm just, I got a fever. You know what I mean? I got the tin audio, tin hi-fi fever. This is dope. First guy on YouTube or in the world that's got this thing out in the public. And that's not a big deal if it's average. That's not a big deal if it's okay. It's a big deal if it's awesome. This is a big deal. I'm having a really, really good fucking day. I hope that you have a good day too. I doubt it'll be as good as mine in the audio thing. I mean, if you had like a baby or something today, you of course you beat me out. But in the audio world, I don't think a lot of people are having a better day than me today. And I'm out.